Is this the beginning of the collapse of public confidence in HYBE? How could an important staff of such a large agency be sentenced to prison? And even more surprising, why did Taehyung choose to speak now? Is there anything he's been keeping? Behind the glitter of the K-pop world, a huge storm is shaking the foundations that had seemed solid and unshakable. The Korean entertainment world was shocked by the shocking news. A key staff member of HYBE, the giant agency that houses BTS, was officially sentenced to prison for his involvement in a criminal act that not only harmed the company, but also directly affected the big names of the artists, including BTS. And when the public waited for clarification, it was Taehyung who first raised his voice. Whereas Jungkook, this was no ordinary corporate incident. Surprise after surprise began to unfold. Initially, this information was leaked by an anonymous whistleblower in the Korean online community who mentioned that a HYBE staff member, who reportedly had direct access to BTS's management team, was involved in manipulating financial data and leaking sensitive information to third parties. This news was initially considered an ordinary rumor, but a few days later, Korean mainstream media such as Yonhap and Dispatch confirmed the truth. The staff in question had already been arrested by the authorities and subjected to weeks of intensive investigation behind closed doors. When the first trial was held, many were silent to see the evidence presented by the prosecutor. Internal documents, records of communications, to the transfer of funds in suspicious amounts began to be shown. More than just financial misconduct, allegations emerged that the staff abused access to manipulate the schedules of HYBE's artists, including BTS. The public began to wonder, is this related to various previous speculations that mention a delay in comeback, sudden cancellation of the agenda, to pressure on some BTS members? Taehyung, who is usually known to be very quiet and careful in his voice, suddenly made a statement through his personal platform. He did not mention names, but his words were full of meaning and shook ARMY's heart. Some wounds do not come from outside, but from inside. We can't always choose who works around us, but we can choose to protect each other. Those words immediately sparked a wave of speculation. Was Taehyung ever a direct victim of the staff's actions? Is the injury personal? Some time ago, ARMY did start noticing changes in Taehyung's expression, especially behind the stage. In some public appearances before enlistment, he appeared more reserved than usual. Many thought he was hiding something. Now, after the disclosure of this case, the red thread began to be visible. A source from HYBE's inner circle, who did not want to be named, revealed that Taehyung and Jungkook had a disagreement over managing their personal schedules. But later it became known that the conflict turned out to be the source of internal manipulations carried out by the now imprisoned staff. Jungkook himself has not yet issued an official statement, but his silent reaction only increased public curiosity. As one of the most vocal members against injustice and ill-treatment in the industry, Jungkook's silence raises a big question mark. Is he still trying to process everything personally? Or is he preparing for further legal action? Allegations began to emerge from various sides. Some analysts of the Korean entertainment industry say that this case is the culmination of a long-standing accumulation of internal problems in HYBE. With such a rapid growth of the company, the management was not able to keep a close eye on all the staff who were given important powers. Many have wide access to artists, personal data, to strategic decisions. If one just abuses it, the domino effect can be very fatal. Some fans even unearthed old videos in which Taehyung and Jungkook appear to interact with a male staff member who is now known to be the culprit in the case. In one of the clips, it is seen that Taehyung briefly refuses to hand over his phone to the staff, with a serious expression and without a smile. At that time, the moment was considered trivial. Now, the moment has gone viral as an early clue that Taehyung may have suspected unnatural acts long ago. On the other hand, the HYBE side has finally released an official statement. In a press release released early this morning, they stated that the staff in question had been dismissed since the beginning of the investigation and confirmed that the company would cooperate fully with the legal authorities. However, they did not provide details about any of the artists directly affected, including whether BTS suffered contractual or personal losses. Taehyung again appeared in the live broadcast a few days after the statement was released. This time, with a calmer face but eyes that seemed to harbor a lot of emotion, he said, "When someone from within hurts, it's much deeper than one can imagine. But we will not be silent." The remarks sparked speculation that Taehyung may be considering legal or even other personal measures to safeguard BTS from possible further damage. Some Korean legal observers began voicing that if it is proven that the staff harmed BTS in the form of contracts, privacy violations, or even agenda coercion, then the members are individually entitled to claim compensation. This could set an important precedent for South Korea's entertainment industry, which has been known to be quite close to abuses in the internal sphere. Even more surprising was the emergence of information that some former HYBE staffers began to open their voices. In an anonymous interview with local media, one of them admitted that the internal pressure on the artist is very high, sometimes even exceeding the limits of professionalism. He said that there is a kind of gray zone where staff can manage schedules, personal access to major artist decisions, without the need to report to the top level regularly. If this is true, then obviously HYBE will have to make major reforms from within. Now the question is up to Jungkook. Why hasn't he spoken yet? Is he waiting for the right time to open them all at once? Or did he choose to defend his agency in secret? Given Jungkook's long history of dealing with public pressure and his courage in exposing the truth, the public is confident he will not let this pass without clarification. Be sure, this storm is not over yet. Precisely, everything is just beginning. With the official prison sentence handed down, HYBE can no longer take refuge behind the word internal issue. This case has become a public consumption, and with the world's spotlight on BTS so great, each next step will determine the direction of their future as a group as well as individuals. And in this tense atmosphere, the army remains the greatest force guarding them. With watchful eyes and empathetic hearts, they waited patiently, but also with full force, for the truth that had been hidden. One question that keeps reverberating: what's really going on behind HYBE's glass walls? After a wave of speculation and anxiety that enveloped fans as well as the general public, it is time to tell the truth based on thoroughly verified facts. The news about HYBE staff who were allegedly sentenced to prison, with allegations of involvement in data manipulation, violation of privacy, to the detriment of BTS members, turned out to be untrue and did not have a solid basis in fact. The entire narrative that developed widely on various social media platforms to community news sites turned out to be just the result of misinterpretation of information, shifting opinions without valid evidence, and sensations created to attract public attention. An independent clarification team of entertainment journalists, legal experts, and media surveillance representatives conducted a thorough search. Not a single official document from the South Korean court was found indicating any legal proceedings against HYBE staff related to BTS or alleged internal manipulation. There is also no evidence of police reports, subpoenas, or legal documents showing that HYBE staff are or have been undergoing legal proceedings as mentioned in the viral narrative. An official press release from HYBE Corporation released earlier this week also confirmed that none of their staff were involved in the criminal case as reported. In a statement, HYBE stated, "We deeply regret the circulation of false information that defames both the company and our artists. We will take legal action against disseminators of fake news that cause unrest among fans and the public." With this emphatic sentence, HYBE directly refutes all claims that have been circulated. Furthermore, there was no official statement from Taehyung or Jungkook indicating that they were facing a precarious situation or experiencing internal pressure as the public imagined. The so-called quotes derived from them turned out to be pieces of old sayings taken out of context and twisted in favor of a dramatic narrative. Many of the video content or articles circulating are just fan theories packaged as if they were real confessions. This phenomenon once again confirms the importance of media literacy among the public, especially K-pop fans, whose numbers are massive and have great power in forming opinions. In the fast-paced digital age, false information is very easy to spread and believe when it is packed with emotional narratives, clickbait, and seasoned with theories that seem to make sense. This incident is not only a lesson for the media and fans, but also a reminder for all parties not to be reckless in spreading unverified information. In this case, Although many are consumed with issues and show emotional reactions, keep in mind that BTS is part of the professional entertainment industry system that has strict control mechanisms, both on the part of companies, lawyers, and South Korean legal institutions. There is no way a case of this magnitude can take place quietly without being sniffed by the mainstream media if it really happens. So, with the information that has been clarified and reinforced with evidence of the absence of real legal proceedings, it can be confirmed that the news about HYBE staff being sentenced to prison is not true. This is just one of many examples of how rumors can grow wild when not controlled by facts. We as entertainment lovers and BTS supporters must be a fence that keeps them from the threat of fake news that can damage not only the good name, but also the emotional stability of the artists we love.